Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to episode number 92 of the Houston Astros franchise here on MLB The Show 20. Today we have games 3 and 4 of the ALCS as it heads back to Houston between the New York Yankees and the Houston Astros. Series currently tied at 1 apiece. Teams split the 2 games in New York. New York won the first game, then Houston bounced back with a win in the second. If you're excited for this one, make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. Here are the scores from the first 2 games. The Yankees won the first game 6-3. Then, like I said, we bounced back and won 7-4. Here are the lineups for both squads. They are the same as they were in games 1 and 2. The only slight difference, is Yordan Alvarez is now in the DH spot, while Garcia is in left field. They just kind of reversed roles. Other than that, everything else in the lineup is virtually identical. On the mound for Houston in game number 3 will be Joe Musgrove, who pitched game 4 for Houston in the ALDS, and he did good despite his ERA. He gave 4 runs in 7 innings of work. 2 of those runs came in the 8th before he was pulled, but Musgrove did very well in his performance. Starting off for the Yankees is Gio Urshela, and we are underway here in game number 3 as he pops one up behind home plate. Stubbs will record the first out. I'm going to bring up Jesse Winker, the center fielder for New York. And the very first pitch, he is bombing one to right field, wasting no time getting on the scoreboard. That ball is out of here. 397 to right field, a solo shot for Jesse Winker, as he was acquired at the deadline for New York for his offense and defensive skill. And he's putting it on display right here as he gives the Yankees an early lead here in game number 1. And we get to the heart of the order. Gleyber Torres up next. Full count, and he's going to beat the shift. How many times have I said that in the playoffs? As he goes down the right field line, going to have an easy 2-bagger, which brings up the all-powerful Giancarlo Stanton. 0-2 to Stanton. He can't connect on a slider. Nice strikeout by Musgrove. Brings up Miguel Andujar, hitting 227 so far this postseason. And he's going to walk on a full count pitch, putting runners now on first and second for Aaron Judge. 2-1 to Judge, and he hits one right at Diaz's short, throws it to second, and the Yankees get 1 in the top. In the bottom of the first, Jordan Montgomery comes to the mound for New York, a left-handed pitcher who did not have a good first start in the ALDS, but he did get the win, so he gets plenty of offensive help. He'll start off against Jose Altuve on the very first pitch, tries to lay down a bunt, but quick reflexes by Gary Sanchez, and he's able to catch it for a quick first out. Here's the left fielder Garcia up next, and he looks at a high fastball called strike 3. Bringing up Alex Bregman, full count, 2 outs, and he hits one, and it's batted down by Torres, but he reaches first safely on an infield base hit, and that's now going to bring up Alvarez. 1-1 to Alvarez. He smokes it to right field, but it is shy of the warning track for out number 3. We go to top 2 where Sanchez will start us off 1-1. He hits this one into right field. It's caught easy by Reddick. However, Joe Musgrove has some stiffness in his back after this one. He actually has to come out of the game. So our starting pitcher has to get pulled 4 outs into the ball game. And cold turkey off the bench is going to be Jose Urena, who first appearance this postseason. He had a 5.02 ERA during the regular season, 89 2/3 innings pitched. He's going to be asked to go a while, but he is a former starting pitcher. So hopefully he can get us some good innings. His first batter will be Luke Voit, who powers one into the gap on the very first pitch that Urena throws. And he gets all the way to the wall, and that is a 1-out double for Luke Voit. Stepping into the box, second baseman Didi Gregorius. He grounds it to another second baseman, Jose Altuve, for an out. But Voit does move up to third. So all Gio has to do is get a hit. And he's first pitch swinging into right center. Reddick goes back, and he makes the grab to preserve the run. Bottom second, Josh Bell leads us off. He grounds to Didi at second. That'll be the first out of the inning. Next, bringing up Josh Reddick. Full count to Reddick, and he's going to draw the full count walk. So he will take his base. Bringing up George Springer. He's hit a little better in the ALCS than he did in the ALDS, but he gets underneath a 2-1 fastball into center field. Easy play for a Winker, and there will be no advance by the runner, 2 away. Garrett Stubbs up next, 3-1. He gets jammed on a fastball, bloops it to the third baseman. It's an easy grab for Urshela to end second. Top Top three, Jesse Winker leading us off, and he grounds it right back to Urania. Nice glove reflexes. Gets the first out of the inning. Gleyber Torres now 2-2 to Torres. Strike 3 on the fastball. Urania settling in after that first pitch double, but now he's got to face Giancarlo Stanton, who only has one hit this series, but it just so happens to be a home run ball. Full count to Stanton, and he's going to draw a full count walk. Urania not wanting to give him anything to hit. That'll bring up Andujar now, 0-1 to Andujar, and he gets underneath a high changeup that he could have did something with, but no runs here for the Yankees in the top of the third. Bottom three, Diaz will lead us off. He gets underneath a curveball as his struggles in the postseason continue. That takes us to the top of the order. Altuve now, 1-1 to Altuve. He sits on a fastball, hits it deep to left field, and it will be off of the wall out there. Altuve is already at second base. So that's an easy one-out double for him. Bringing up Garcia, who first pitch swings on a fastball, a little late on it, but it bloops in front of Judge in right. So that'll advance the runner. Bringing up Alex Bregman, first pitch swing, and Bregman grounds it down the third base line. There's going to be no play at the plate, and Bregman actually beats out the throw. So a little bit of an infield single drives the first run home for the Astros, making it now 1-0. However, there's still only one out in the inning. Alvarez gets a high curveball but can't take advantage. They will test the arm of Winker as Garcia has the third throw is offline, so he makes it safely. And Josh Bell with a good chance to get us some more runs, and he hits it deep to center, but Winker was playing deep, and it's all tied up at 1 after 3. Top of the 4, Judge will lead us off, and he will look to change that as he flies out to the warning track. That was a loud out number 1. Now Gary Sanchez now full count, and he's going to hit it up the middle. That's a base hit, 1 out single by Sanchez. Puts him on first base for the first baseman, Luke Voit. 2-0 to Voit. He gets a pitch right down the middle, but he grounds it right at Diaz. 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. Josh Reddick leads us off for the bottom of the 4th. He cannot catch up on the high fastball. That is strike 3 called against him. Bringing up George Springer, who's now hitting .222 in the postseason. He flew out back in the second inning. 0-1 from Montgomery. He sits on a fastball and slaps it into right field. Nice piece of hitting there by Springer to get his first hit of the day. I'll bring up Stubbs, who popped out in the second. He grounds it to Didi. There is no double play. However, Stubbs is thrown out at first, but that does advance the run for Diaz. Full count to Diaz, and he swings through a changeup in the dirt. And we're still tied at 1 after 4, so both pitchers starting to settle in now. Top 5, Urania gets Didi to ground into the shift. That'll be the first outs. Taking us to the top of the order now, Gio Urshela up next. 2-0 to Urshela, and he bloops one over the glove of Diaz into center field. So another 1-out single for the Yankees. And that's going to bring up Jesse Winker, who just like last inning grounds into a inning-ending double play. So Urania, that is solid, basically 4 innings of work for him, but he needs some run support. Bottom 5th, Altuve leads us off, but he grounds out to a 4-3 play. And then Garcia up next, first pitch swing, and he's going to pound a curveball into the dirt. So despite the shift, Gregorius does get to it to record the second out. And then Bregman, also first pitch, he slaps one almost in the same spot. However, Didi cannot get to this one, so Bregman singles with 2 outs, bringing up Yordan Alvarez. 1-1 to Alvarez. He grounds a fastball. This time, Gregorius is playing the second base spot, and he records the third out of the inning. So after a strong performance by Urania, Edubre Ramos will come in the 6th, looking to keep this game tied. He has not had a good postseason so far. He'll start off against Gleyber Torres on a 1-0 curveball blasted deep to right field. It is off of the MLB Network sign, but Torres has a leadoff double to put some pressure on Ramos. Up next, Giancarlo Stanton 2-2. He slaps it into right field. It's going to get down for a base hit, and Torres has some speed. He's going to come home and score, and the Yankees regain the lead after 2 at-bats against Ramos. Andujar up next. He swings through what would have been ball 4, but that's a strikeout for Ramos. Bringing up Aaron Judge. 0 for 2 on the day, 154 in the postseason. He's looking to turn that around here in a good opportunity. And a full count curveball hits it deep to the deepest part of the park. But Springer just has enough room. Didn't even have an extra step behind him for the second out. Sanchez up next, 3-1. He draws the walk, so he will take first base. You can see Ramos' pitch count getting up high, bringing up Luke Voigt, who is already 1 for 2 on the day. And the Astros will turn to their pen, not wanting to overextend Ramos. Bring in the flamethrower Alex Reyes to get the final out of the inning. 0-2 to Voigt, and he looks at a high changeup called strike 3. Reyes gets the job done in the 6th, but not after a run has been surrendered. So Houston needs to get that run back. Bell will lead off the inning. He will ground outs to starts. How about Josh Reddick? 0-1 to Reddick. He hits one into left field. That is a shift-beating hit, which means he will be rewarded with the double with 1 away, setting up nicely for George Springer. Full count to Springer. He looks at ball 4, so he will take his base. That means Garrett Stubbs has got to go up against Jordan Montgomery, who has yet to get a hit in this whole series. He's 0 for 7 so far. 1-1 to Stubbs. He hits a fastball, gets good contact, but he gets just underneath it as he records the out. And Reddick, I think he thought that one was going to drop. He starts to head off, and he actually gets doubled up at second. So a bad base running mistake there for the Astros allows the Yankees to get through the inning with no runs surrendered. Top 7, nice play by Altuve deep in the outfield grass to record the first out. And then Gio Urshela gets a hanging curve, but hits it right at Reddick in right for a quick 2 outs. And then Winker up next, 3-1 to Winker. He pops up into left field, and Garcia will get to this one. So a nice 1-2-3 inning by Alex Reyes in the 7th. But the Astros need some runs. Diaz looking to turn around his fortunes. Can't do it here. That's a pop out to Stanton in left. How about Altuve? He's 1 for 3 on the day. 2-1 to Altuve. He gets a high fastball as well, but maybe a little too high. He also pops out into the outfield grass. Easy play for Torres. 2 away now. Garcia up next, 3-1 to Garcia, and he draws the walk. So at least a base runner for Houston. And that'll actually do it for Montgomery. He will be pulled here in the 7th. He goes 6 2/3 strong. And in comes the righty Jonathan Holder. We've seen a couple of times. We've had some success off him. We're going to have Alex Bregman step to the plate, so looking to get a little bit more success off Holder. 1-0 to Bregman. He jams into shallow right. Got to be smarter with that, Bregman, especially early in the count. And that ends the 7th. Top 8 now, Torres striking out on the curve. Reyes looking sharp here in Game 3. But a full count to Stanton will walk him, so Stanton will take his base. That'll bring up Andujar. 1-2 to Andujar. Ground it right back to Reyes. He feels it, throws him out at first. That's 2 away. How about Judge? 2-2 swings through the fastball. Alex Reyes comes in and dominates the Yankees lineup, but it's still 2-1. Alvarez, who has a 156 average this postseason, we could use a big hit here as he's 0 for 3 on the day. 2-1 from the righty Holder, and he hits it, but right into the shift. Gregorius throws him out at first. That's 1 away. How about Bell? 2-2 to Bell. He looks at a high changeup called strike 3. Probably wishes he had that pitch back. And then in comes Chad Green. I talked about in the preview how dominant him and Chapman can be late in the games. Well, now we got to get some hits off of him. Josh Reddick up first. He gets check swing, kind of bunts it over to Torres, who records the final out of the inning. So Green gets his job done. And then we're going to go to the 9th. Presley's going to try to hold this lead as he has yet to allow a run so far this postseason. 0-2 to Sanchez. Sanchez grounds it right at Diaz, who fields it cleanly, throws him out at first. There is 1 away. Luke Voigt up next, full count to Voigt, and he's going to hit this one like he did earlier in this ballgame, right into the right center gap up against the wall. And that'll be Luke Voigt's 2nd double of the game. So now D. Gregorius' turn. 3-1 to Gregorius. He pops it up into left field. That'll be playable out there for Garcia. That'll be the 2nd out of the inning. Back up to the top of the order. Gio Urshela now 2-2 to Urshela, and he whacks one right to right field. It is over the glove of Reddick. 2 outs, so Voigt was on his horse, and that'll be another run for the Yankees, giving themselves another little cushion as they're now up by 2. And then Winker will draw a full count walk. So Presley not making it easy on himself, already up at 25 pitches. But on pitch 30, he does get Torres to ground out to end the inning. And now Houston is down by 2 going into the 9th. And you know it's going to be the lefty flamethrower, Aroldis Chapman, coming in to close the door. Can Houston muster any sort of offense against the best closer in baseball? 0-2 to Springer. He can't do it. 1-0-2 on the gun. How can you catch up to that inside fastball? Next up would be Stubbs, but they want a little bit of righty on lefty matchup, so Maldonado will come in and pitch hit for Stubbs. Full count from Chapman. He does turn on a 94 sinker, puts it into left field. That one's going to get all the way deep in the corner. Maldonado, who's not even who is not that fast, does get into second with a 1-out double. Next up would be a Diaz, but he's also going to get pinch hit for. And in comes Justin Smoke. We've seen him a couple times this postseason. Has yet to have any success. And on a 2-1 pitch, he does ground it to first, but he does advance the runner. But it's down to the final out of the game, and it's up to Jose Altuve to keep this one going. Altuve is 1 for 4 on the day. He did have a double earlier. And Orbit tries to get the crowd pumped up. Everybody's on their feet here at Minute Maid Park. It's a 1-1 to Altuve, and he slaps the slider into left field. That is going to be a RBI, and Altuve is actually going to be aggressive and go to second after Stanton bobbled. So it is 3-2 Yankees, and the tying run is on second base. Yankees are actually going to pull Aroldis Chapman, and they're going to bring in Tommy Cale. So very interesting call, as they're going to go to a righty-on-righty matchup, and Avisail Garcia steps to the plate. 1-2 to Garcia. He swings through the 97 fastball. The bat goes in frustration, and New York will win Game 3, of the ALCS. It'll be their second game they've won, as they take a 2-1 lead here in the series. A little bit different than games 1 and 2. This was a pitcher's duel at its finest. There's only 5 runs scored in this one, but Houston loses one at home, which means that they want to win this series, they're going to have to steal another one in the Bronx later, which will not be easy. 3 runs on 9 hits, 1 error for the Yankees, 2 runs on 9 hits, 0 errors for the Astros, and Jesse Winker with his solo shot in the first was named your player of the game. Now we take a look at Musgrove. He does have back stiffness, so he'll miss a few days. I don't think he'll miss a start, but he will go to the bench. And then in Game 4 of the Dodgers-Chicago NLCS series, the Dodgers win 8-1 in Chicago. You might have saw it on the scoreboard during the game. The Dodgers were dominating, so they take a 3-1 lead in the NLCS, and they need just to win one more. Now we're looking to avoid that 3-1 fate, as in Game 4, it'll be James Paxton versus Justin Verlander. And so we're back here in Houston for game number 4. This is basically a do-or-die game for Houston. You don't want to go down 3-1, especially to the Yankees. But they now lead the series 2-1 as we jump into game number 4. We got another packed house. Let's take a look at the lineups real quick. They're basically the same, just a slight difference on Houston's side. Lefty is on the mound for New York, so they're actually going to go to Martin Maldonado like they used to do back last season. He will hit against a left-handed pitcher. As you can see, he's batting 1,000. He's about 2 for 2 so far in the postseason. And Justin Verlander will take the mound for Houston, looking to replicate his success against the Yankees in the past in the ALCS. If you remember back in 2017, he struck out 13 against New York. Now, ironically, Garrett Cole did the exact same thing to Houston earlier in this series, but nonetheless, Verlander's looking to do it again. He gets the first out from Urshela, and then Winker will strike out on the fastball, so that's the first strikeout of the day for Verlander. And then the third batter, Torres, on the very first pitch, will slap it, cutting away from Josh Reddick. It'll get to the wall, so the Yankees have themselves a 2-out double in the first, bringing up Giancarlo Stanton, who on a 3-0 pitch actually gets the green light, and he will ground out, so interesting call, leaving a scoreless first for the Yankees. And in comes the lefty James Paxton. So the second straight day where the Astros had to go up against the lefty. He had a pretty solid outing in his last ALDS game. He'll start off against Jose Altuve. 2-2, strikes out on that knuckle curve. You're going to see that a lot from Paxton today. That'll be the first out of the day. Avisail Garcia steps to the plate. You see his numbers here. Who can forget his Game 2 pinch hit grand slam in the ALDS? 1-0 to Garcia. He gets a cutter, hits it the other way. This one's hit pretty deep, and Judge just has enough time to get there. What wheels from Aaron Judge all the way to track that one down. And 3-1 from Bregman. He will draw the walk. We've seen him get on base a lot this series. And then Alvarez up next. First pitch will hit it into right field. Big hit for Jordan, who's kind of been slumping recently. Bregman will go all the way to third, and now a scoring chance for Houston as Bell steps to the plate, but he can't connect on an inside cutter, ties him up. And that's a scoreless first. Top two, Andujar steps to the plate, and this is a foul pitch, and I skipped right past it, but Verlander also got hurt. So this is the second straight game that our starting pitchers got hurt in the second inning, which means Urania is going to have to go long again. He did good last time. It says he didn't give up a run, but he didn't give up an earned run. But he comes off cold turkey again in the very first pitch to Andujar. He blasts it to left field for a solo shot. And the Yankees take a 1-0 lead here. Unfortunate turn of events for Houston, as Urania just has to come off cold, and that's hard, especially against the Yankees lineup. Nonetheless, it's 3:75 down the line. The Yankees take a 1-0 lead in the second. Aaron Judge up next, 1-2 to Judge, and he will hit this one into right field. So Urania's got to bounce back. I know he's cold, but this is the Yankees. Gary Sanchez now, 1-2. He chops it to Bregman. That's a nice way to get your feet underneath you and around the horn double play against both runners. And now nobody's on base for Luke Voigt, and he will swing through a fastball. So good recovery from Urania. Surrenders one. Then bottom two, Springer will lead us off with a full count slap down the third base line. He will be thrown out for the first out. Here comes Josh right now, 2-2 to Reddick. He swings through that knuckle curve. Like I said, you're going to see that a lot today. And then Maldonado 1-0 hits this one, except it does stay fair down the third base line. So he's still perfect in the postseason, taking first base. And then Diaz up next, 0-1. He will slap it to the left side of the infield as well, and it actually eats up the shortstop, Torres. They're going to say E6 on that one. I think Diaz could have beat it out, but it's an E6. Runners all safe for Altuve, who grounds out, though, to end the second. So the Astros push nothing through, taking us to the top of the third. Dieter Gregorius 2-2, and he will pop up in the infield. Bell races over behind the pitcher's mound. That is the first outs. Gio Urshela's turn. He's had a slumping series. Hopefully this will help out his cause, though, as he hits this one up the middle for a single with one away. Jesse Winker's turn now, 1-0, and he grounds 4-6-3. Urania, that's the fourth double play we've seen him get in the past two games. Garcia now, bottom three, 2-2. He grounds it to the left side of the infield. This time it is fielded cleanly, and he is thrown out at first. Alex Bregman up next, 3-1, and he will draw another walk. So he takes first base. Pitchers want nothing to do with Bregman, which means Alvarez has got to go even more clutch, as he's protecting Bregman, and this will help. Slapped into center field. Bregman goes all the way to third, and the Astros got another scoring chance. It's Josh Bell. Full count to Bell. He hits this one to right field. It will be caught by Judge. However, Bregman will tag, and he just barely beats the throw. Good cutoff throw by Judge. But he does get the job done, so it is 1-1 now. And then Springer will strike out on the curve. But the Astros do tie it up in the third. And they're going to go to Devinsky in the fourth. Urania did pitch almost 4 innings last game, so we're going to have to use the whole bullpen today. First batter, Gleyber Torres, 2-1, pops it up into shallow center. Springer gets underneath it with ease for out number 1. How about Giancarlo Stanton's turn? 1-2 to Stanton. He gets a high changeup, but gets just underneath it. I would say Devinsky got away with one there. He pops it up to the same spot that Torres did. Full count now to Andujar, and he won't pop it up. He'll dribble it in front of Devinsky, and he gets through a 1-2-3-4. So Astros looking to have some momentum here, except Reddick will strike out on the 97 heater. Full count now to Maldonado, and he will also strike out looking this time, so his perfect postseason of hitting ends here. 2 outs to Diaz, 0-1. He hits it, but it is right at Urshela, so that's a quick inning for Paxton. And Judge will lead off the fifth, and he will draw a leadoff walk. Changeup misses the zone. He takes first base, bringing up Gary Sanchez, who also walks on 4 pitches. I do think that one caught the plate, but nonetheless, back-to-back walks for Devinsky. And then Voigt, first pitch swinging, hits it into center. It actually bounces in front of Springer. So that's 3 straight base runners for New York, and Devinsky's in trouble. 1-2 to Gregorius. He slaps one into left field. Garcia's out there, and he actually makes a diving catch. Looks good, but I thought it was a little unnecessary, and now New York actually scores a run. So I guess an A for style points, not necessarily the right play, however, as it's 2-1 New York. And Urshela up next grounds it in front of the pitcher's mound. He will be thrown out, but runners do advance, bringing up Jesse Winker. Full count to Winker. He hits it into right field. That will be another run as the runner scores. Now 3-1 Yankees. Still 2 outs, and that brings up Gleyber Torres. But before we get there, Austin Pruitt will join the game. Devinsky doesn't get out of the 5th. And now it's Pruitt's turn to try to preserve the damage. First pitch to Torres. He hits it into left field. That is another base hit. That is another run score for the Yankees as they start to open this one up. It is now 4-1 New York. And then Stanton up next. He draws the walk. So we're back to a bases loaded scenario for Miguel Andujar. First pitch to Andujar. It's hit up the middle for a base hit. One run comes around. The other one's coming around third. It is 6-1 Yankees. Door has been busted wide open. Thankfully, Judge strikes out, but not before a 5-burger in the 5th for New York. Astros got to find an answer. Altuve will lead us off, hoping to get something started here. First pitch swinging, popping up into shallow center, and Winker makes a nice sliding grab to record that out. How about Avisail Garcia? 1-2 to Garcia, strikes out looking. Paxton, 7th strikeout of the day. Brings up Alex Bregman, 3-2 count. He draws his 3rd walk of the day. He has yet to have a at-bat today. 2-0 now, though, to Alvarez, and he grounds out to end the 5th, so the Astros get nothing in this inning. Pruitt will stay in the 6th. He will get the first batter to ground out as Sanchez records out number 1. Luke Voit now 1-0 to Voit, and he smacks this one deep into center. Springer, though, does get to it, so that's 2 outs. Looking for a 1-2-3 inning. It is DJ Gregorius up next. And he chops this one, but he gets to Altuve deep in the hole, and he will be safe at first. So that is not a 1-2-3 inning. Now we go to the top of the order. Gio Urshela 1-1. However, he does get the out. So no damage in the 6th. But the Astros need some runs, and Josh Bell will start. He did hit sac fly earlier, but we need some better hitting by Bell as he's only 2 for 4 in this series. Full count to Bell. He gets a nice fastball to hit. Tries to take it the other way. But Judge has enough space. That'll be out number 1. George Springer's turn. 1-0 to Springer. A high fastball. Just get underneath it. A little too high. And Winker records this out. It's just nothing is dropping in the grass. Reddick now. 1-0 to Reddick. He gets also underneath the cutter into outfield, but it will not drop. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for Houston. To the top of the 7th we go. It is Ramos heading back to the mound. Edubre Ramos will step in. 9 ERA on the postseason. His first batter, Jesse Winker, hits it, and it will get through the infield despite the shift. So another leadoff batter for New York as Ramos continues to struggle in the postseason. 2-2 to Torres up next, and he also gets it through the infield. So back-to-back singles on the ground for New York brings up Giancarlo Stanton. And on a 2-0 to Stanton, he wails on a fastball to left field. No doubt about that one. A 3-run blast makes the door even wider. Or in the case of the Astros, the door might have just been slammed shut. 367 to left. Stanton with a 3-run blast. It is 9-1 Yankees. This crowd is silent as you can see everybody is sitting down as the inevitable is about looking like it's going to occur. Still nobody out, and Andujar draws the walk, so Ramos just cannot seem to get anybody out. How about Aaron Judge? 2-2. He pops up to right. There's finally the first out of the inning as Reddick has to go way back to get this one, but it's an out nonetheless. Sanchez's turn. 1-1 to Sanchez. He will hit this one to left, and he will remain hitless today. There's 2 outs. So look at Ramos able to get back-to-back outs. Who would have thought it? Not me. And he will not have a chance to get the 3rd out as Alex Reyes will come out of the pen. He had a very good Game 3 that we saw despite the loss. Looking to replicate that here, and he gets Luke Voit tied up on the inside curveball. So Reyes gets us out of the inning, but not before some damage has been done. And Tony Zych will come around in his awesome stash for the Yankees out of the pen. And the bottom of the 7th, Maldonado gets another base hit. So look at Maldonado putting together a solid postseason. Diaz now up next. He turns on the very first pitch. Nice pitch to hit, but it's just shy of the wall as his struggles continue. That's the first out in the 7th. How about Altuve? 3-1. Looks at a pitch that might have been ball 4. Instead, records out number 2. Now it's up to Garcia. 1-1 to Garcia. He gets jammed. Easy play by Voit. We're through 7. Astros only got 2 more to go. Reyes will stay in the 8th, try to preserve this lead, and he will walk Didi on a pitch that should have been called strike 3. Come on, give us the calls. Urshela up next, 0-1. This will not be debated as this one will be jammed deep into right center, and it will be off of the wall. Runners, for some reason, I don't think they thought that one would get down, as that's a very, very long single. Next batter, Winker. He will strike out on a nice changeup by Reyes. And then Torres will strike out on a fastball looking. So back-to-back punch-outs for Reyes. Brings up Stanton again. 1-0 to Stanton. He hits this one to center, but Springer is there. Nice outs to end the 8th. But the Astros, they only have 6 more outs. Make it 5. Bregman pops out to left. Easy play by Stanton. That's 1 away in the 8th. How about Alvarez? Full count to Alvarez. Check swing, no swing. Alvarez draws the walk, takes first base. Then Bell on an 0-1 pitch grounds it to the right side. Nice play by Voit. They will only get 1, so Alvarez does move up. And that is a scoring position chance for Springer, who on the 0-1 pitch, they're actually going to allow him to take third. As you can see, the Yankees just not really caring about the stolen bases. That's full count by Springer. He hits it to left center. And this one will not get down as Winker catches this one. It's just been a dominant pitching performance by the Yankees. If you've been watching the strike zone, a lot of these pitches are just on the outside. They're not giving us anything to hit. Presley, like in Game 3, will come into the 9th, and it will not be easy as well, as that's a leadoff single into left. Nothing is ever easy against the Yankees. And then Aaron Judge up next, 2-2. He does swing through the high fastball, so that'll be out number 1. Sanchez now 0-2, swings through the slider, so that's back-to-back strikeouts now for Presley. And then an 0-1 to Voit. He hits this one into right field, which Reddick is there. So the Astros have to get 8th in the bottom of the 9th. Jonathan Holder once more. I think we've seen him in all 4 games. He will step to the mound. He had a scoreless Game 3, looking to do it here in Game 4, as Reddick hits it right into the teeth of the shift for out number 1. And Maldonado up next. First pitch swinging. Gets a nice fastball to hit, but is popped up into shallow center. Gregorius has that, which means it's up to Diaz. 0-2 to Diaz. Check swing. It doesn't matter. Called strike 3. And the Yankees win Game 4 by a score of 9-1. Meaning it's now do or die for the Astros. They're now up 3-1 in the series. And they win in emphatic fashion. Now, a little unfortunate for the Astros is for the second straight game, their starting pitcher gets hurt in the beginning of the game. As you can see here, that 5 spot in the 5th was really the difference maker. But the Astros, only 4 hits. Yankees, 14 hits. Now, Duhar was your player of the game, going 3 for 4 with a home run. And he also had 3 RBIs in this game. Nice pitching performance by Paxton and company. And just like Musgrove, Verlander will not be hurt for long, but still, he had to be pulled out of the game. And now we're down to an elimination scenario. Speaking of eliminations, the Dodgers beat the Cubs, so the Cubs are officially eliminated. And the Dodgers will go to their 4th World Series in 5 years, hoping that the 4th time is the charm. So we don't know who will represent the AL, but it will be NL thanks to a dominant shutout performance complete game by Kershaw. So here's the bracket. You see the Dodgers waiting the winner of this series, but it is 3-1 Yankees. And next episode will be Game 5 only. It is a elimination scenario. So we're only going to show Game 5. It'll be McCullers versus Matthew Boyd, another lefty matchup. So the Astros, they're on do or die now. They have to win out. We'll see if they can do it in the next one. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.